Hello, I'm Donald Leggett and welcome to our latest Focus IR CEO interview. I'm joined by Oliver Hassler, Chairman and CEO at PYX Resources, the mineral sands producer listed in Australia and London with the ticker PYX. PYX is producing premium zircon in Indonesia, widely used in ceramics and manufacturing, and PYX is now the world's third largest publicly listed zircon producer by resource. Oliver will talk through the final results for the year ending December the 31st, 2023. Greetings, Oliver.
Good morning, Donald. Good to be here with you.
Fantastic. It's lovely to have you. Now, let's start with your numbers. It really was an interesting year. Premium zircon prices decreased by 19%, yet PYX managed to keep sales revenues stable and increased zircon production. If you could talk me through the financial highlights, please, Oliver.
Sure. So we had an extraordinary year. On one side, we increased our total sales volumes by 20%, our sales of premium zircon by 24%, reaching over 11,000 tons. Our sales revenue, even though we had a decline in zircon prices, maintained stable within last year, and we had an increase of our underlying EBITDA, which is positive, of 61%, reaching almost $700,000. But not only the financial numbers were good, we were able to produce more with 22% less people. We also continued with our commitment with the local community, and we increased the female employment by 28%, which is 5 percentage points. We increased the indigenous, so the Dayak employment by which is 47% of our total employment today, and we maintained our zero record of total recordable injury frequency rate. And we continued once again in March. We signed the UN Global Compact annual communication progress. So all in all, it has been a very strong year. So a strong year for PYX, despite zircon demand from Western economies, which was soft last year. Let me refocus that question and ask you about demand in your main market, which is China and India in 2024, because those are the key ones for you, aren't they? Sure. Independent from the demand, we have always managed to sell 100% of our production. So this year it's even a more impressive result with a softer worldwide economy. But this is the result of our strategy, which we have done since the beginning, with geographic diversification of our customer base. So when we started in 2020, we were selling mainly in Europe. As demand softened, we moved to China. Last year, as China's economy demand reduced, we moved into India. So at the end of the day, we have enough customers worldwide to be able to sell all of our products. And I don't lose any sleep, even with our increased volumes in the future, knowing that we will be able to sell all of our premium zircon.
So last year you actually increased your blue chip industrial base by 23% through that market diversification. What underlies that? Now, I suspect you're going to say it's the quality of your product. So, but let's hear that in your words, not mine.
You're right. You were listening. But most important is the world knows that there's not enough zircon supply for the future demand. So although today we're in a little bit softer market, it's pretty much in balance, supply and demand. Once the world's economies go out of this actual crisis, there will not be enough supply. So customers want to make sure that they have access to all the sources of zircon, and we are the new zircon supplier on the block. So they want to make sure they build a relation with us to secure their supply going forward. Other than that, Kalimantan zircon is a high quality premium zircon. 100% of our sales are premium zircon. So we have a very high whiteness, low radioactivity, low iron, low. And for the Chinese, very important, we produce in a Belt and Road country, which is Indonesia is a strategic country for China. It is the biggest Belt and Road country.
3 years ago, when you listed, you had a global ambition to be one of the major players in premium zircon. Would you say that after 3 years you are a major player, or is that still work in progress?
Well, we're one of the new players, and we said in our 5-year plan that we would reach 48,000 tons. So every year we have been reporting an increase in volume. So we're well on the track of reaching that goal of 48,000 tons. We also have to remember that 2020 February, when we did our original IPO in Australia, is exactly the moment when COVID started to put restrictions in worldwide. So out of those 3 years, we have really been on the ground 1 year. So showing a positive underlying EBITDA is an incredible result.
Okay, let me move to the export of rutile and ilmenite. It can be done as a non-metal from Indonesia now, and the PYX have been mining and stockpiling material whilst waiting for the port to be added to the export license. When do you expect to be able to export that stockpiled rutile and ilmenite?
I'm happy you're asking me the question because, as you saw, we just obtained the license, and we announced that we have the full license now to export ilmenite, which we announced a couple of days ago on March 12th. So we are ready now to export ilmenite. We're still waiting for the one in rutile, but the big volume of our stockpiling is ilmenite. We have about 10,000 tons today. We absorbed all of the cost within Zircon. So this will be pure margin and would help us also on the cash position of the company for 2024. So ilmenite exports and rutile exports will be an additional profit venue for 2024, which I expect to be a good year.
Okay. And you remain confident that demand for zircon will continue to increase, and of course you've already got that ilmenite license. You're hoping to get the rutile one pretty soon. Do you expect sales to how much do we expect sales to increase in 2024?
But at the end of the day, we expect to continue, so we should be down the path in our 5-year plan to go towards the next milestone is to produce around 18,000 tons. We have already increased the capacity in a mineral separation plant to 24,000 tons. And January was already a good month in the market. We have seen the first signs of China increasing their demand, which has pushed the prices up.
Okay, that's very good news. Can we turn to the Tsema Mineral Sands? They're currently in development. I don't know an awful lot about the Tsema Mineral Sands. Could you tell us more? When do you hope to bring Tsema into production? What sort of volumes do you think Tsema will be producing in terms of extraction, and what additional revenues will that generate? And it must be a very exciting project for you.
So we always said that strategically, we don't only see ourselves as exploiting Mandiri into a very, very profitable project. We also said that we see ourselves as being the consolidator of the mineral sands industry in Kalimantan. We're the only industrial miner in the area. There are several resources which we're analyzing, and we acquired Tsema in February 2021, which increased our asset base. Today, with the cash we have on hand, we're growing Mandiri organically, so we're going towards our goal of increasing to 48,000 tons. Tsema will start either when we find the right set of investors to capitalize this project, or once we have enough cash on our balance sheet to start with Tsema. We're not in a hurry. We're still growing year after year on Mandiri. So if we have the right investors that match our company into the long term, then we're willing to consider to start Tsema. At this moment in time, it adds to our asset base. We have acquired, like you mentioned at the beginning, the renewal of a 10-year license for Tsema. So this gives us a lot of security going forward that we have this potential project development.
Lots of potential at Tsema. You reduced headcount in 2023 and reduced costs. Do you anticipate any further cost reduction measures?
Sure. I think reducing the headcount in Mandiri is just a result of us increasing our efficiency. So it's the right thing to do. But at the end, we're working in a low-cost country, so it doesn't have a huge impact on finances. It just shows that we do the right things and we continuously work on solid fundamentals. But your question is very well that we have very strong potential of cost reduction. On one side, we're starting now with rutile and ilmenite. In the future, we will be able to absorb costs with those byproducts. So that will reduce our total cost base. We're also testing our in-house mining in Mandiri, which has a huge potential of drastically reducing the cost by substituting third-party miners for in-house mining. The increase of volume will let us absorb our fixed cost better as well, which will reduce our cost and increase the profit. We're in the process of connecting to the electrical grid, which will let us substitute diesel for electricity, which will reduce our energy bill by 72% and also allowing us to have a more sustainable solution. So as you can see, we have some very, very big axis of cost reduction.
Okay, my final question to Oliver. Why should, I think you've almost given us the answer really, why should investors add PYX to their watch list now?
Now is a perfect moment to add PYX. As a result of the global economy, the share price is relatively low. If you look at the research done by the two investment banks that follow us in Hong Kong and London, you will see that compared to fair value, so the position of the company today and not the one into the future, there is a huge growth potential. So I really believe in our project. We have shown year after year that we're growing on a very strong basis of strong fundamentals. So I think there's a huge opportunity for investors today.
Oliver Hassler, Chairman and CEO at PYX Resources, thank you very much for discussing the 2023 final results with us. I'm looking forward to hearing from you again in 2024, indeed throughout 2024. For more company information and to access the company bulletin board, please go to the PYX Resources pages of London South East. And meanwhile, do follow us on Twitter or X, that's @_FocusIR_ and @London South East. We have two Twitter handles, or register on London South East YouTube to receive alerts to our next PYX Resources interview. But all that remains for me to say is thank you so much for watching.